we may be those that make this world advance, O Master, and ye older Aharas, come hither, vouchsafing admission into your company and Asha, in order that our thought may gather together while reason is still shaky, okay? So even though the world has turned evil, even though the people, the elite, are evil, you can still do good, and God will know you do good, and God will reward you for doing good, okay? So again, this is the beginning of monotheism. And as you can see, this idea will echo in Christianity and Islam as well. Then truly on the world of lies shall come the destruction of the light. But they who get themselves good name shall be partakers in the promised reward in the fair abode of good thought, of master, and of right. Oh, if, O ye mortals, ye mark those commandments which master hath ordained of happiness and pain, the long punishment for the follower of the Druge, and blessings for the followers of the right, then hereafter shall it be well, okay? So you should do what is virtuous, not only because God will reward you for doing so, but because you will feel eternal happiness in doing so. When thou, O Master, in the beginning did create the individual and the individuality through thy spirit and powers of understanding, when thou did make life clothed with a body, when actions and teachings whereby one may exercise one's convictions at one's free will. Okay, so you see individual, free will. These are the core concepts here, okay? Never say you're being coerced. You always have the choice. You always have the choice to resist. Then lifts up his voice, the false speaker or the true speaker, he that knows or he that knows not, each according to his own heart and mind, passing from one to another, Armati confers with the spirit in whom there is wavering. Okay. Clear it is to the man of understanding as one who has realized it with thought. He upholds Asha together with good dominion by his word and deed. He will be, O Master, Ahara, the most helpful helper to thee, okay? So when we choose to follow Asha, we are doing God's work. When we, in our hearts, choose Asha, we, at that moment, change the world for the better. Okay? All right, so this sounds a bit complicated and a bit abstract. And honestly, he was speaking to people at that time, okay? So what does he really, really mean? And how can we understand what he's really saying? Well, the argument I want to make to you today is that all prophets are the same. They're all divinely inspired. They're all speaking a certain truth. So by understanding other prophets of that region, of that culture, we gain insight into the true thinking of Zoroastrian. Okay? So this is Rumi, who is considered the greatest Persian poet who has ever lived. He lived in the 13th century, which is about 2,000 years, 3,000 years after Zoroastrian. In many ways, if you actually read his poetry, he is the reincarnation of Zoroastrian, okay? So we're going to read a bit of his poetry. And then once you read his poetry, it will give you insight into the cosmology of Zoroastrianism. All right. I see so deeply with myself. I so see deeply with myself, not needing my eyes, I can see everything clearly. Why would I want to bother my eyes again now that I see the world through his eyes, okay? Through the eyes of Asha, through the eyes of the monad, through Ahura Mazda, okay? That's how you should be seeing, okay? In other words, you should be seeing the world through your imagination. You can imagine a better world. If you imagine a better world, you can create a better world. So don't be fooled by the material world around us. It's all fake. It's all an illusion. Not Christian or Jew or Muslim, not Hindu, Buddhist, Sufi, or Zen. Not any religion or cultural system. I'm not from the East or the West, not out of the ocean or up from the ground, not natural or ethereal, not composed of elements at all. I do not exist, am not an entity in this world or in the next, do not descend from Adam and Eve or any origin story. My place is placeless, a trace of the traceless, neither body or soul. I belong to the beloved, have seen the two worlds as one, and that one called and know, first, last, outer, inner, only that breath, breathing human being, okay? Does that make sense to you? We're all part of God. That's our true nature. There's a divine spark in us. Don't be fooled by the material world, okay? And don't be fooled by labels. Christians, Buddhists, Jews, there's no difference. We're all the children of God, okay? We're all the same. So don't be fooled by labels. Okay, so there's a joke Okay, the joke is this. God and Satan are fighting over humanity. And God says to Satan, ha, humans have discovered religion, therefore I have won. And then Satan says, yeah, but then I'll just organize it. Okay? So the idea is that religion is great, okay? I'm a big supporter of religion, but organized religion is problematic because organized religion serves the interests of the priests who control the religion. Okay? And that's why there are these differences in these religions, in Buddhism, in Judaism, in Islam, in Christianity, because the people in charge need to differentiate the religion in order to exploit you, okay? In order to justify their existence. But at the end of the day, we're all connected to the divine, and all that matters is that connection. Okay, so all these differences is something that is artificially created to fool us. All right, all day I think about it, then at night I say it. Where did I come from, and what am I supposed to be doing? Okay, I have no idea. My soul is from elsewhere. I'm sure of that, and I intend to end up there. Okay, I don't remember where I came from, but I know that I must have come from somewhere. Okay, this drunkenness began in some other realm. Some other tavern. When I get back around to that place, I'll be completely sober. Meanwhile, I'm like a bird from another continent sitting in its aviary. The day is coming when I fly off, but who is it now in my ear who hears my voice? Who says words within my mouth? Who looks out with my eyes? What is a soul? I cannot stop asking. If I could taste one sip for an answer, I could break out of this prison for drunks. I didn't come here of my own accord. I can't leave that way. Whoever brought me here will have to take me home, okay? This is beautiful, and it's also a rewriting of Plato's allegory of the cave, right? This is a prison for drunks. Here, we're all drunk. We're all blind from our true reality. This is a prison. When we return to the monad, to our master, then we'll see the truth for ourselves, okay? All right, so here's another poor prophet, Friedrich Nietzsche, okay? Friedrich Nietzsche is one of the three great German philosophers of the past 500 years. Immanuel Kant, Friedrich Hegel, and Friedrich Nietzsche. And Friedrich Nietzsche thus spoke Zoroastrua. And he wrote in a very interesting way. He likes to take these long walks. He can walk for like hours and hours in the mountains. And then now and then he feels as though he's being seized, okay? A force has seized him and compels him to speak. And he believes this person is Zoroastrua, okay? So he wrote a book, and it's just a recollection of all the moments when he was seized by Zoroastrua and forced to speak his words, all right? And when we actually read what Nietzsche writes, you will see that it's actually pretty similar to what Zoroastrua himself promoted during his time. Of course, Nietzsche is promoting it in a more modern contemporary lens. Okay, so if Zoroastrua were to come back, he would basically be Nietzsche. Okay, so in many ways, Nietzsche and Rumi are reincarnations of Zoroastrua. They're all trying to speak a divine truth to humanity. All right, so this is the prologue, the first page of Thus Spake Zoroastrua. Okay, and what you will notice, okay. Look for this. What you will notice is that this is exactly like the allegory of the cave, okay? All right. When Zoroastrua was 30 years old, he left his home and the lake of his home and went into the mountains. There he enjoyed his spirit in his solitude and for 10 years did not wear of it. But at last his heart changed, and rising one morning with a rosy dawn, he went before the sun and spake thus unto it. Thou great star, what would thy happiness if thou had not those for whom thou shinest? For 10 years hast thou climbed hither unto my cave. Thou would have weather of thy light and of the journey, had it not been for me, mine eagle and my serpent. But we awaited thee every morning, took from thee thine overflow, and blessed thee for it. Lo, I am weary of my wisdom, like the bee that hath gathered too much honey. I need hands outstretched to take it. I would fain bestow and distribute until the wise have once more become joyous in the folly, and the poor happy in their riches. Therefore must I descend into the deep, as thou dost in the evening, when thou go behind the sea, and give light also to the netherworld, thou exuberant star. Like thee must I go down, as men say, to whom I shall descend. Okay? So Zoroastrua has hid himself in the cave, and inside the cave, in solitude, he has discovered Asha. He has discovered the secrets of the universe, and he's discovered that this is not enough. I must now go shine the light on everyone. Otherwise, I can never achieve Asha fully. Okay? So it's exactly like the allegory of the cave where the prisoner, he escapes into the light and he's happy until he realizes that you can't be happy alone. You have to share this happiness with everyone else, okay? So it's exactly like the allegory of the cave. All right, let's continue. Though implantest thy highest aim to the heart of those passions, then became thy virtues and joys. And though thou wert of the race of the hot-tempered, or the voluptuous, or the fanatical, or the vindictive, all thy passions in the end become virtues, and all thy devils and angels. Once had those wild dogs in thy cellar, but they change at last into birds and charming songstresses. Out of thy poisons breed thou balsam for thyself, thy cow affliction milk so. Though drinketh thou the sweet milk of her udder. And nothing evil grow in thee any longer, unless it be the evil that grow out of the conflict of thy virtues. My brother, if thou be fortunate, then wilt thou have one virtue and no more. Thus goes thou easier over the bridge. Illustrious is to have many virtues, but a hard lot. And many a one have gone into the wilderness and killed himself, because he was aware of being the battle and battlefield of virtues. Okay, the question then is, if our master is wisdom, why do we live in a world of hate, of evil, of sin?